13 Republicans joined Rand Paul on the Senate floor to filibuster John Brennan's nomination as CIA director, but not all Republicans were happy with the show. Senators Lindsey Graham and John McCain slammed Rand Paul, calling it an ill-informed stand.
Calm down, Senator. Mr. Holder is right, even if he doesn't explain the law very well. The U.S. government cannot randomly target American citizens on U.S. soil or anywhere else.
Let's bring in our Friday gaggle, former Republican governor from Maryland, Bob Ehrlich, Democratic pollster Margie O'Mara, and from the deputy editor of the Rothenberg Political Report and contributing writer for Roll Call, Nathan Gonzales. Welcome to everybody.
Thank you.
Governor, I want to go to you off the bat because this was fascinating with Rand Paul here.
One-day story.
But a fascinating divide. Who would have thought 2 years ago that Mitch McConnell would run to the Senate floor to bask in the glow of Rand Paul, and then John McCain and Lindsey Graham say, "Sit down, son. You do not speak like that about our drone programs."
There's a healthy dissent.
What is there to read in here? What does this mean for 2016? Could this libertarian wing have a real
I love the
feeling in the
libertarian
GOP?
wing having a role in the party. As you know, I have self-identified with that wing myself over the years. I think it's very healthy. Now, there may be something personal here. We don't know. This was a little strong by Senator McCain. I don't know what, as far as any personal animosity here or what was said between the two of them. But at this point in the cycle, it's no big deal. People will draw a lot into it. It's a one-day story. But I don't mind a little dissent. It's good for the party.
Well, it's almost now a 3 or 4 day story, and I think well, one, it makes me nostalgic for real filibusters that were dramatic and occasional, not everyday, regular occurrences. So that I think is something and another piece of this. But it really does show how fractured the Republican Party is, and when they make a dramatic moment, it's over something that is actually not something that the entire country is really galvanized around. Think if they had gone to the floor for some of the issues where 70–80% of Americans are supportive, but Republicans have been obstinate. I mean, this is just a real sign of how far to the right the Republican Party has gone.
And then one thing that was of interest to me was the fact that all these guys wanted to get in on this. The McConnells, the Thunes, Saxby, Chambliss, sort of this edict went out from the top conservatives on Twitter, from the RNC, get on the floor. Right. I mean, that's quite remarkable to see Mitch McConnell go on the floor for this.
Well, there's the show that was going on the floor, but there's all sorts of politics going on beneath it. You have Mitch McConnell, who's up for re-election. Right. He's already hired Rand Paul's campaign manager to be a part of his team. You have Marco Rubio. He might run for president, a breaking news story. And so you have everyone with these other agendas going on, some of whom we know, some we don't know, but it's more complicated than just what's going on.
Everyone covering their bases. Hang out for just a second because we have to go to the White House now. As we do every month at this time, we want to get our first reaction from the White House on the brand new job numbers. Joining me now is Alan Kruger, chaired the President Obama's Council of Economic Advisors. Good morning to you, Mr. Kruger.
Good morning.
So first, I want to get a reaction to the jobs numbers, 236,000. That's obviously positive, but I want to put up what John Boehner just released. He said, quote, any job creation is positive news, but the fact is unemployment in America is still way above the levels the Obama White House projected when the $1 trillion stimulus spending bill was enacted, and the federal government's ongoing spending binge has resulted in a debt that exceeds the size of our entire economy. Republicans don't seem to be taking this too happily right away.
I think if you step back, you see that the economy is continuing to improve. The recovery is gaining traction. Over the last 36 months, we've added private sector jobs each month for a total of 6.4 million jobs. For the last 5 months, we've had over 200,000 jobs added. So this is a sign that the economy is moving in the right direction, and what we need to do is avoid self-inflicted wounds. We need to do everything we can to keep up this progress.
One thing that I find interesting is we obviously see amazing growth on Wall Street, the Dow reaching record high levels, but that has not necessarily translated into hiring on Main Street, hiring laboring jobs, sort of real increases in profit margins, but not necessarily bringing new people to the workforce. When do you expect to see that divide narrow, where this amount, these numbers, going down, these massive amounts on Wall Street going up, will actually lead to some real substantial hiring?
Well, we want to build on the progress that we've seen. The longer the recovery keeps going, the more confidence will come back, the more workers will be going back to work. The unemployment rate fell last month to 7.7%, the lowest it's been since the end of 2008. So we just want to build on that progress, and a stronger job market will mean stronger income growth, and that'll lead to an upward spiral, a more virtual cycle, and that'll help the recovery going forward.
One question I just want to ask to get you out of here on, which I find interesting, is that there's a lot of optimism on Capitol Hill for some type of grand bargain because this is now going through the regular budget process. Senate Democrats are going to do a budget. House Republicans are in the process of doing a budget. President Obama's budget has not been released yet. It's a little bit late. Can you tell us when we will expect that on Capitol Hill?
You know, the president is doing everything he can to get the regular order back in order, to make progress. The president has made repeatedly proposals for a balanced approach to get us on a sustainable budget path. He, just a week or two ago, posted on the web his proposal, which outlined some tough entitlement reforms, closing of tax loopholes, and some smart spending cuts so we can replace the sequester, which the longer it stays in place, that's going to be a drag on the economy going forward.
Alan Kruger of the Council of Economic Advisors at the White House, we thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right, go back to the gaggle a little bit here right off.
Code words. Balanced approach. Give me a break. Another massive tax increase coming from Obama. Nothing changes.
Where's the tax increase coming from?
You heard the code words. Balanced approach. Come on.
But the House Republicans won't move it all on revenue.
And Harry Reid interested in a budget for the first time in, what, 4 years? Come on, give me a break.
Get in.
Well, look,
easy,
look, the American people want Republicans to come to the table. They support a balanced approach. They support compromise and people working together. And right now they're trusting the president more than they trust Congress. So if Republicans want to improve their real deficit in terms of popularity, they're going to need to come to the table.
Right now, the American people are not buying the Who Struck John over the sequester, obviously, and that's why the
Nathan, I want to get you in here. I'm fascinated, though, that regular order actually could produce something here, because we don't have a debt deadline just quite yet that can be up until July or August. We're going to get enough rank-and-file people here to have their say. Could that build up a deal?
Well, I mean, we all like to be optimistic, but even though deadlines seem far away, they tend to creep up on us, and nothing ends up getting done until the last second, because I don't know that there's an incentive to compromise, because both sides, the party bases are polarized, and I'm not as optimistic as you are.
Honestly, that's the story that's been amazing to me, is that some of us have already started to say, well, nothing will change till 2014. Only 3 months into 2013 after we had an election last November, only in America. Trivia time. We asked who was the first president born west of the Mississippi.